Welcome back, everybody, to the Raid Call Netolic Pro League Winners Bracket, Round 1, East Division, MUFC versus Orange. I think I would have to say that Orange was probably heavily favored by most observers. I think on Gosu Gamers it was like 80% of people thought that Orange would actually take this no problem. But so far, MUFC coming in with an innovative play, absolutely fantastic coordination between their 5 players, actually on a level that we haven't really seen that much from them lately. And Orange, in the previous 2 series between these 2 teams and other tournaments, has taken, I think, the last 2 or 3 matches off of MUFC. But MUFC here, poised to actually send Orange down to the loser's bracket with 1 more win. So, will Orange be able to take this back in Game 2? Or will MUFC actually take it out 2-0? We're about to find out. I'm your official English caster for this tournament, Vikramon. My co-caster El Presidente is here too. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Alright. And just a quick reminder before we go up into this, the official sponsor for this tournament is Raid Call, voice over IP program. You can check it out at www.raidcall.com. Throughout the tournament in Raid Call channel 2013, there will actually be prize giveaways. You can learn about the details for those and the rules either within that Raid Call channel or on the website for the tournament, netolic-raidcall.com, netolic-raidcall.com. Here we are going up into the draft for this Game 2, and this time it's MUFC, not Orange, that secures the first pick, Magnus.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we look at the bans aren't really too spectacular either. The early Shadow Demon ban does kind of hint towards a Lifestealer pick by MUFC, so that is something to consider. But ultimately, they do go for the safer Magnus pick, and that's a very safe pick. And there is the Lifestealer picked up by Orange instead.
Love these picks.
Radiant team pick.
So MUFC might retaliate by picking up an early Bane. Maybe they feel like going for their pocket pick Visage again. I don't know. Visage does do a lot of physical damage, but instead they go for the Lone Druid. Very very common hero in this scene.
Lone Druid is an excellent hero, I think is what you're going for here.
Yes, he's an excellent hero. He's an excellent hero as well.
Sorry, go ahead.
He's an excellent hero as well, but I love this Weaver pickup as a counter to the Lifestealer.
Mm-hmm.
Weaver can build actually several orbs that make him very effective against the Lifestealer. His 2 big ones are Desolator, which I think he should go for because they do have the Lone Druid, so they can go for more tower pushes that way. Or Scotty if you really feel like you need to cut a Lifestealer. But that said, Weaver is phenomenal against Lifestealer. You can't slow a Weaver. So
right. I mean, you can certainly try, but the effects of it will be limited at best. It'll be
you might need 100% slow.
5 seconds remaining.
And that's like 1 slow in the game is 100% slow.
Yep. I mean, Lifestealer is an incredibly strong hero. I actually got made fun of the other day for saying on Premier League that I thought that this was the strongest hero in the game, but I'm willing to stick to that. He's incredibly strong. He's basically immune to spells, and Orange with the C special taking the Sand King. So with SK, it's always a question of does he find those levels? Is he able to land those epicenters? If yes, proceed to win. If no, proceed to somewhat humiliating failure. So will Orange be able to find the levels for the Sand King this time, do you think?
Yeah, this is the real problem. In the last game, one of Orange's largest problems was that the support stayed woefully underleveled and their impact as a result was negligible. Mm-hmm. And if that happens again, Orange are looking at being 2-0 and knocked into the loser bracket at this rate.
Sure.
That said, if they can get the levels on the Sand King and the Rubik, they can get those steals on the RP and, I don't know, Spirit Bear or something ridiculous, then Orange are looking to be in a very good spot for this game, just because Rubik and Sand King are very good at setting up Lifestealer. Likewise, Lifestealer are very good at setting up Rubik and Sand King, because the slow has longer range than either of Rubik or Sand King's disables.
Right. I mean, both teams, I like their lineups. I think they're very responsive to each other. I do think that Telekinesis is, as you said, just a really great setup for that Burrow Strike. The low range does mean that it's sometimes hard to land, but with Telekinesis, you move so much closer, not to mention open wounds if they need it prior to the Burrow Strike, although most likely they'll want to use it after. In the second ban phases, MUFC just taking out that Queen of Pain. They don't want to see that on Orange's side. That would be a fairly overwhelming amount of magic damage just being thrown out, in addition to a difficult matchup in the mid for that Magnus, of course. And Orange actually taking out Chen, so it looks like they're maneuvering themselves against the possibility of a heavy push lineup coming out from MUFC, centered around this Magnus. So I wonder if that also means we'll see something like a Leshrac ban, because MUFC, of course, they don't have any supports drafted up just yet.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and this is actually going to become a huge problem. Maybe we'll see the seldom seen in the Asian scene Bane pick up as a counter to Lifestealer. We could also maybe see Earthshaker again.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
I mean, he's not that likely to cop a ban, so I wouldn't be tremendously surprised to see it. Yeah, definitely. Orange are going to focus on pushing focused supports. So here we go with the Shadow Shaman. He's able to put those wards down, really help out a strong push. And this is actually, I feel like, somewhat of a gamble for them in terms of if they ban out all these pushing supports, and MUFC's game plan around this Weaver, Magnus, Lone Druid wasn't actually that pushing focused, I feel like bans like this Shadow Shaman and Chen will be, if not wasted, because it did guide them away from those possible bans, it might just not be that effective.
Absolutely. I don't know how I feel about the Shadow Shaman in particular. He is actually pretty strong against Lifestealer, provided he can get the jump on Lifestealer. The problem is, if he can't, Shadow Shaman is very much fodder.
5 seconds remaining.
I don't know. But
the question for Orange, I think, here is, do they ban a third, like Leshrac or something? Do they ban a support that's really pushing focused, or do they ban what they think fits into MUFC's lineup the best from a killing perspective? Now, either way, they should absolutely ban out a support. There's no reason to ban out anything else, because MUFC have their mid, they have their carry, and they have their hard laner, regardless of whether Lone Druid is the hard lane and Weaver is the carry, or vice versa. I think more likely the former, but latter's a possibility as well.
I don't know. I feel like Lone Druid's a little bit stronger in the offlane, just because if you can get those faster levels earlier on, that's a bigger win. Yeah. But Jakiro will be up, and there.
Visage again! And Visage, I mean, good with Weaver as well. Weaver can put out that damage to set up those soul assumptions. If Visage goes Medallion, Medallion's an amazing item in concert with the Weaver. They can have quite a bit of armor reduction if they do go for something like that Desolator that you said. That'll just give them an immense amount of armor reduction, including on towers, and they'll be able to bring people down very quickly. So MUFC, we'll see if Ling can repeat the incredible performance that he had on Visage in the first game. I mean, really can't be overstated how well he did. I think he was 9-0-9 by the end, which is just, I mean, it's a remarkable record.
Absolutely, and if they can get that same performance out of Ling a second time, that could be devastating. Right. Especially with the lineup that MUFC have, they actually have quite a lot of damage, and in particular, the RP is fantastic for getting up those soul charges and storm spirits.
Sure, they needed a mid. This is pretty good. So Ohio up on the mid, most likely once again, going up on the storm spirit, and I think this is a good move for Orange. Take a bit of the initiative back from MUFC. State your intent in the draft of actually being able to... Ooh, Sven. So support Sven setting up those big stuns. Actually, Stormhammer, Grave Chill, Soul Assumption, and Weaver damage is nothing to kid around with. This is going to be a lot of damage getting thrown out against Orange, and so if you're Orange, do you go for an attempt to 3v3 here, or do you try to dodge the 3v3 and just play safe lane Lifesteal or Rubik Sanking?
That's the problem. I think they should go head-on into MUFC's lineup. The problem is they can't just let Weaver get free farm, because Weaver will beat up Lifestealer in the mid-game. It's just going to happen. Because Weaver puts out more damage, Weaver can avoid damage from the Lifestealer. That said, MUFC have a very strong lineup as a whole. They can use Sven as a support hero, and if they do manage to get farm onto the Sven, that's a quad-core lineup. And with Ling, they're basically running everyone is important, and that's a problem. It's not just important. Everyone has important, and everyone has impact. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's actually a huge problem for Orange if they can't just shut down at least Sven or Visage in lane maybe Weaver as well, but that would be a much tougher kill to get even in a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation.
Right. I love these lineups coming out from MUFC, actually. These are some really innovative drafts, and even constrained by the fact that there were 3 directly targeted support bans coming out, I still feel like they've come up with a lineup that really hangs together, and they clearly don't... It's not like they were pushed into the visage. Like, they ran it so effectively in Game 1 that I think they'll be perfectly happy running it again in Game 2. Give me a second, because I think this is actually not going through Dota TV, so...
Yeah, I was getting the same little notes.
Alright, maybe we'll just go if the teams don't want me to. Alright, I will actually army.
Oh wait, there's a pause from Winter, so they might be doing it right now.
I can load.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll see. Let's figure it out.
Can we add this to the ticket later?
Yeah, we can add it to the ticket later.
Alright, then we might have to do that. And that's... yeah, that kind of sucks.
It's okay. So, Dota TV people, you are seeing this in the future.
We salute thee.
We salute thee, yeah.
But no, we might be seeing an early 5v5 engagement.
No, we are seeing an early 5v5. So
I can't help but favor MUFC in early 5v5 engagement.
I do have to say that, yeah, I mean, Orange, they have a decent lineup. They have the stun. When people are coming in onto you, you are fairly comfortable with that stun. You know that Burrow Strike will land because people are right on top of you. But anyway, here we go. I mean, we've got the Lone Druid coming in, the Bear, TFG, Ling, they're in, Net taking some damage. It looks like Orange will attempt to disengage. Here comes the Stormhammer. They're actually going to start on Ketchagimba, who's on the carry lifestealer this time. TFG chasing. They're dealing some damage, but the Burrow Strike will land. FCFC will cop a hit. Telekinesis up. It might be first blood for Orange, actually. They secure it. Damage getting thrown out, however. Sand King is down on the ground. They're going to try to pick off KYX, they've got a lot of chase coming out here. He's got stealth. He doesn't actually find it. This is 2 kills from UFC already. And Ketchagimba actually will retreat from this, but I guess a fairly even trade because first blood one way, but 2 kills the other way for MUFC.
I'm going to favor MUFC in this case because the kills on MUFC went to Visage and Magnus, who, if Ling pulls the same kind of performance, and he's already off to a good start as he did the previous game, he's going to have impact, and Magnus will have impact. Rubik less impact with gold. And he was the one who managed to get the first blood there. And that said, with 2 kills in the team, that being a big team fight, there was more gold going the way to Winter, to Han Trash outside of his kill, to TFG, and to FCFC. So I think that's actually more favorable for MUFC as a whole.
Sure. And I'll take your description right there as basically the introduction of MUFC for this game. So Orange seeking to take this back to the 1v1 to 1-to-1 will be the tri lane up here, safe lane try, Ketchagimba on the Lifestealer, Extinct on the Rubik, Net on the Sand King. In the middle, Ohio, reprising his role from last time. Instead of Storm Spirit, instead of Tinker, he will be on Storm Spirit this time, going up against Huntress players Magnus. And then in the solo lane, it's actually KYXY ends up in a 1v1 against FCFC, which does mean that he will find the levels. We will not have a Bounty Hunter who's starved of level 6. Now, Lone Druid, when he does hit level 5, will be able to bully this Bounty Hunter a little bit more, but for now, FCFC is actually the one finding himself bullied. He doesn't have the bear respawn for another 10 or so seconds.
Do we introduce MUFC?
You kind of casually introduce them, but you can go ahead
and
reintroduce
more
them
formal. We got Ling, not Sharky, on Visage. TFG will be taking that Weaver. We're seeing Winter playing up on the Sven. We're seeing FCFC playing Lone Druid on the bot lane against KY. And in mid, we're seeing Han Trash reprising mid against Ohio.
As well. Actually, the Burrow Strike comes out. I think this is going to be a kill on Ling, and no invulnerable streak for him this time. They bring him down. Meanwhile, TFG hunting down Rubik gets a kill, so another trade. So MUFC, in this aggressive tri-lane, they wanted the 3v3. They did not want the 3v1 on KYXY. They'll concede him the levels, and they're just going to try to get kills. So a support for a support, and I think, did Lifestealer actually pick up that kill? Yes, he did. So both carries on either team actually do pick up their first kills.
Yeah, that's definitely a much more favorable trade as a whole for both sides. I'm not sure Ling is too happy because he did go on a glorious rampage the previous match. But that said, still a very good play coming out of MUFC and Orange in that whole trade. Winter was able to get a stun off. It's just a twitch hit by Keswick on his rage managed to keep him up.
The interesting thing to me is Keswick is copying just a ton of harassment, and that's that Weaver. Just the ability, because Geminate is free, it's so much damage each time that cooldown is actually up. And he's using almost every cooldown to actually aggressively pressure Ketchikemba on this Lifestealer. And so Lifestealer, not actually able to steal all that much life in the first couple of levels, unfortunately. So as a consequence, we do see him copying a bit of harassment early on.
Yeah, this is what we're seeing though is exactly what MUFC need to do. They need to contest these pools so that they can't lose this XP otherwise, and that's fantastic. Especially because if Orange want to stick around and just keep their pulls safe, they might lose someone in the process. So every time they pull, MUFC will know, MUFC will be able to make a play on it.
I think MUFC are playing very smart, but Orange are getting their game plan across as well. I mean, KYXY finding the levels, he's level 4. Of course, once level 5 hits for FCFC, this is going to be a little more of a troublesome lane for KYXY. We're probably going to see him start spending a lot more time in stealth mode. So far, he's been able to last hit quite effectively, actually matching FC pound for pound. But once those entangles start coming out, it's going to be a different story, really. He's going to have to play much, much more passively. Under tower, of course, he's fine. Actually missing a last hit there, unfortunately.
Yeah, the only problem is if the entangle does latch, that's like 180 damage dropped off on the KY, and Ling, he can't go stealth, so...
Net just pressuring Ling a little bit. He's actually a little out of position relative to his team. Hasterun comes out, so Hantrash player is coming in. They know, though, they have vision of this completely, and it looks like he's just going to call off the Hounds, head back to middle lane, realizing that Orange have perfect vision of what he's actually attempting to do. Winter, meanwhile, just continuing to try to screw over these creep pulls. Doing a good job, actually. 2 creeps go for him rather than for the creeps. And that, even if you peel away 2 creeps temporarily, it's actually still a fairly big deal, because it just means, oh my goodness, I missed a kill. My bad. The second half of the Haste Rune, that actually is the rest of his Arcane Boots. So a good kill by Hantrash player there. Actually not even needing RP for it, he just skills it now. So a pretty useful kill there.
Ohio was a little bit aggressive there. He ended up using the Electric Vortex to pull him quicker towards the tower, so that tower would cop a couple of hits onto Hantrash, but Ohio was just too low. The skewer plus the shockwave, second shockwave ended up just finishing off Ohio too quickly.
Sorry, I'm just handling... Sorry about the spectator chat, folks. Just informing the other casters of what the actual issue is. Apologize to people who meant to watch this on Dota TV. It actually will be added to the Dota TV ticket, so you will be able to see the game. Unfortunately, you won't be eligible for jobs just for this one particular game. You can blame me for that. It's completely my fault. Feel free to call me a trash caster. Or rather, a trash lobby administrator.
It's because there's no such thing as a good lobby administrator.
Sure there is. There's plenty of great lobby administrators. I'm just not one of them. Ling's just trying to find a little bit of the farm here, stealing a little bit of this Radiant Dire Jungle. Actually, who got that? Ling did actually get that, even though Net spent a Burrow Strike. So, just a little bit of mana wasted for Net. He's still holding on to one of his Clarity Potions. Unfortunately, no boots for Net, and really no rank 3 Burrow Strike. So still a Sand King that needs a lot of help actually finding his targets. So far, essentially... MUFC have gotten a little bit of a level advantage in this lane, and overall I bet they're a little ahead on XP. Yeah, they are, about a K&a half of XP advantage. So I said that Orange would definitely try to dodge the 3v3 lane, and this is really why. They need to make sure that they get safe XP on Sand King, and they need to make sure that they develop well on Lifestealer. And so far that hasn't really happened. In fact, Storm Spirit getting more or less dominated in the mid. He's 2 levels behind Ohio from where Hantrash player is. Going to try to find a kill with this smoke gank to FCFC. Track comes out, but here's the entangle. KYXY won't be able to participate in this. Here is the lasso. They're doing quite a bit of damage to FCFC. He actually gets hit by the creeps, and I think they're going to get the kill. Oh no, will entangle trade it off? FCFC actually gets the first kill. They do get the track kill on him, but he actually trades it off for KYXY, and that was a lot of resources spent for just a trade.
Absolutely. The fact is, because of that particular kill order, FCFC gets XP.
Right.
KY doesn't.
Right.
And
it is
that
free
will
XP for Ohio, though.
For Ohio. But Ohio's already behind in mid because he lost to Hantrash.
Right. Oh, they lift up TFG. He's in a bit of trouble here. Actually, the Burrow Strike will miss, and there's that rank 2 Burrow. It's just not far enough. Ketchik has to run out of this. KYXY doing a bit of damage to Winter. Winter actually copying a lot. It looks like, oh no, the Entangled proc something? There's the RP. Contrast player is in. Extinct is down. Ohio is alone. He actually needs to clear the heck out of here because 3 players are down already. MUFC looking commanding. Ohio copying quite a bit of damage here. The Grave Chill is on him. He's still taking damage. He's actually running out of mana. He only has 30 left. He can blink a little bit more and he will escape. But, oh, Orange, they thought they could make something happen there. They rotated KYXY over to make it happen. And unfortunately, he just gets slapped down immediately. They can't even find the kill on Winter. Just the magic stick charges were enough to keep him alive.
This is actually a real problem because that was a 4v5 engagement that ended with Orange losing 3.
Yeah.
I think they lost 3. Did they lose 3?
Still level 3.
I think, yeah, didn't Net Extinct and... Yeah, Extinct is also only level 3, and we're seeing a repeat from the first game. Right. The supports are unable to get levels, they're getting picked off way too quickly, and what happens is that eventually your supports just stop having impact, and this is a real problem when one of your supports is Sand King.
Right. This is a support that needs his levels. He is moving towards the mid. I like this, but unfortunately Huntrash can bully him quite a bit in this lane as well. Winter just trying to find the big stun here. Of course, you can't really throw out the stun on Lifestealer unless you know that his rage is on cooldown, or unless he's lifted up by something else. So in this case, he can't find the Stormhammer there. If they landed on Extinct, that would be another story, but still. Meanwhile, KYXY is just trying to find levels at this point. He's actually entangled again, so copping even more harassment from OCFC here. And again, the level 5 Lone Druid just completely changes the dynamic of this lane. All of a sudden, you just have really...
yeah, it becomes a... Yeah, it becomes a real problem when the bear is able to get those first entangles without the Panda skin.
Yeah, definitely. When you're not paying for power, actually, we should report this to Valve that he had got a first hit entangle. So, clearing out the tower here is MUFC, putting a lot of pressure on the top lane. Orange's safe lane is just under a lot of pressure. And I've had the gold per minute open because I've wanted to comment on it, but this Magnus, Huntrash player, having a huge game. He was officially added to the roster just very, very recently, I think. Orange, by the way, rotating supports constantly into mid to try to find a little bit of XP from them. They really want that level 6, both on Extinct and on Net, and they haven't found anywhere near it yet. But this is Blink done for Magnus. This is a 10-minute Arcane Boots and Blink. I mean, this Magnus is never going to not be an issue for them from this point onwards.
And here's the other big advantage of MUFC's lineup. They have a very, very, very strong push lineup here. So this is going to be a problem for Orange because we're seeing that FCFC is pushing in through mid. On top, we're seeing that CFG is doing a little bit of tower damage, and this mid tier 1 goes down without any problems.
Yeah. MUFC, I mean, Orange are playing properly. They're not in command of the game. They don't have the levels. They can't make the contests. So they have to play defensively. Unfortunately, they have to cede some map control in order to not lose even more than that. But tier 2s, I do feel like they may have to put up some fight for. Actually, in the top, I think they pop RP for that. I knew it was going to happen, but I sort of wanted to watch the mid first. So, unfortunately, another kill in the middle as well. Extinct getting brought down, and they will maybe rotate Ohio, but I don't know that he has the levels, actually. He goes on Winter and he immediately just leaves. Immediately just clears out. So, unfortunately, Orange just can't find any stability here. They're getting pressured very heavily by MUFC. MUFC just really seeking to take this out as soon as possible, and so far it's going great for them. Orange finally managed to at least find a kill on the bear, but he's got to resummon. Ohio does get stunned eventually by that Stormhammer, and there goes another tower. MUFC continuing to put a lot of pressure on, just really putting the screws on Orange.
Absolutely, and this is becoming a huge problem, as even on the top lane, we're seeing the towers taking quite a lot of damage and a huge rotation coming up from the supports, and Keswick.
Oh no. Ketchik is in a lot of trouble. If the Entangle comes out, the Entangle comes out. They're going to kill this Lifestealer. Oh, maybe not. He maybe makes it out. Yes, he's on high ground. He's actually okay. MUFC, they call up the Hounds for just a brief moment. The bear is going to rotate. This tier 2 tower is going to come down. Orange have fortification, but do they even want to spend it for those tier 2s? No, it seems not. 4 towers down in just a short span, and MUFC completely taking control, taking command, and they really want to take this series.
This is just straight up repeat from game 1. What we're seeing is that basically they have a very strong support lineup that's being very effective in these fights, and Orange's supports are being impactless. They're not able to show up and get kills out. Actually, net.
Skewer, actually. They don't quite get net there. Skewer fishing sometimes is so arbitrary. Like, it's not that you mess up, it's just that you just slightly move the wrong direction.
It doesn't work sometimes.
It does.
Oh, that's stunned out.
Stuns coming out on net. I don't think this is... I think this is just casual stuns. Refill those visage charges. Ohio and X actually... Extinct and Ohio are smoked. They're trying to make something happen. They're on the high ground, and Winter doesn't see them, so this is probably a dead Winter, I think. Stun coming out, it hits Extinct. Oh, there's the RP. That's a big RP. Winter actually still alive, and Extinct already dead. Ohio trying to turn around the Huntrash player, but here's Ling just threatening to soul assumption them into oblivion, and they're unfortunately forced to retreat, so... Again, Winter just survives, and MUFC continuing to extend their lead. The track kills are just not happening.
You know, it's like Winter has a guardian angel, and his name is Han Trash Player. Like, that RP was so perfectly timed and just so barely in position that even the Storm Spirit who electric balled to the low ground got caught in it. And I didn't think that they were able to get Ohio. I thought Winter was for certain going down. And based off the TP support coming down from MUFC, they're looking to pick up another 2 towers in the spot lane.
Yeah, and I mean, they still... The thing about it is, at this point, Orange, I think, need to steal RP. So they really need Extinct to be level 6, and he isn't. They have Epicenter, so they got level 7 on net. They fixed that problem. But they still don't have Spell Steal. And without that, I just don't know. Here comes Skewer again. KOX actually getting stunned in the middle of the Skewer. A big shockwave, though. Ohio actually copping a ton of damage. And again, Orange just don't have the survivability to fight these Visage-based compositions. Neither game they've actually been able to just stay in here while the huge magic damage gets thrown out from MUFC. They don't have the null field developed for Rubik yet because, I mean, Extinct just doesn't have the levels to even start leveling it. And here we go. The pressure from MUFC on the tier 2 tower. They are kind of low, so actually a big... Oh no, he's not going to get the epicenter. Ling picks him off, and KYXY is entangled. MUFC just completely taking apart Orange again. KYXY is in trouble. A soul assumption will pick him off. They may finally get Ling. He was tracked, and FCFC may get taken down. Ketchik is entangled. He infests to get out of it. FCFC in a bit of trouble here. They do actually slow him down. It looks like Storm Spirit and Lifesteal. Oh no, another entangle comes out. And the Weaver damage. Too fucking good. It's dealing too fucking much damage. And Orange just teleporting back in. Ohio with the buyback. He doesn't find the kill on FCFC. He blinks way past him, and Hontrash and TFG are just chasing him at this point. Do they actually have RP again? They do. They RP Ohio. TFG will follow up with even more damage, and he manages to blink out. Ohio will be safe, but unfortunately, MUFC are just getting completely dismantled here. Net copping a lot of damage. Do they have vision on this high ground? They will with the Visage Familiars. Hontrash blinks up. They will stun. Shockwave, another stun. Melee, he gets taken down. KYXY is back, but Orange are just feeding themselves into the meat grinder now. I don't know what they can do, but they can't keep doing this.
This is... Yeah, this is like straight up actually... I feel like Orange was a little bit thrown off their game by these Visage picks both times. I feel like they really weren't prepared to deal with Magical Nuke on the scale of Visage. That said, it's not like Magical Nuke is the only thing that Orange have to deal with. They also have to deal with the high physical damage coming out of Weaver and the high tower pushing power coming out of the Lone Druid.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing that overall, every lane that MUFC ran won. And it wasn't just won by a little bit, they won by a significant margin.
Ohio, Net trying to come in. He doesn't actually have 5%. He did pop it unsuccessfully in the last fight. So, just the tier 2 for them here. Yeah, I agree with you. I actually think one of the main problems, I think the Visage was a little less impactful this time. Here come out the stuns. Net's in trouble. He won't find anything this fight. He finally at least burrow strikes. TFG is locked down, but he might be able to time-lapse out of his telekinesis. They just need a little more damage. They don't get it. He's back up to full. Ohio forced to flee again. Orange, they just can't find anything. They can't make anything work in this game. And they're on the brink. They're on the edge of actually being sent down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, at the same time, we're seeing that Lifesteal is doing a little bit of pushing in the mid lane. I think this is actually a little dangerous.
Oh. I mean, Lifesteal is pretty safe. The problem is KYXY might not be safe. They've got Gem on Visage, like, they can see him. and they're continuing to chase. Keep in mind, Contrast player has gone maximum movement. He's gone the Bat Rider build. He's got Blink and Force Staff. KYX actually in a lot of trouble here. They might catch up. There's the Force Staff. One more Shockwave will do it, but they don't know where he is. Actually, they do. He's going to try to divine them on neutrals. He can't seem to do it. Double kill for FCFC as well. Continuing to push with Winter and FCFC up in the middle, while the rest of Orange just gets picked off all over the map. And the one thing is that Storm Spirit is not that strong of a laner. Like, the hero is not that strong, and he actually lost substantially to Huntrash. Like, Huntrash has really ruled this game in a way that he didn't on the Queen of Pain. I feel like the Queen of Pain was just, like, part of their strategy, but the Magnus is not just part of it. He's dominating. 8-0-5.
Absolutely. We're seeing that Huntrash really showing off his monstrous skills, because even in the last game, he went 6-0-9. So this is absolutely phenomenal play command of Huntrash player this game, more so than Ling in the last game, really. The impact coming out from these RPs have been saving his teammates, have been getting those kills, and he's really been on the ball I feel awful for saying that. But on the ball with really everything. He's been getting fantastic shockwaves, fantastic skewers for the most part. Those have been a little bit less fantastic. Well, but really the RPs have been on the money.
Looks like Orange are going to try to find a kill while they know they're rushing. TFG probably getting picked off here. He does! The Epicenter finally comes out. It's dealing decent damage. Contrast player, he's going to RP on just net here, so actually not the most successful fight for MUFC so far. Lots of damage being thrown out on Winter. They still can't find the kills on this freaking Sven. He only has one death. KWaxway is just like, come on, give me the Sven. Let me have this Sven. And he can't get it. Oh no, Extinct getting picked off as well. And Orange again and again. It's almost like EG's Bite the Beat is strat. They're just trying to get a chomp of that Sven, and Winter's just staying alive, and MUFC are punishing them dearly. All they end up getting there is TFG's first death. I think the Aegis is still up on FCFC. Yes, it is. And 2.4k gold to show for it as well. Armlet, of course, done for a long time now, and probably his next item coming up fairly soon thereafter.
Yeah, we could be seeing another Assault Thrust picked up.
Ohio, they might get Huntrash here, so actually Orange finally start finding the kills. They do pop Infest to try to get it, but the problem is they don't have any tools to deal with TFG, and they actually GG. So they actually GG out after that kill on Huntrash. So Orange, I think, not tremendously happy with what transpired in these games.
I think Orange just wanted to get something for their troubles in this game, and once they got Huntrash, they got their revenge. They were like, okay, that's as good as we're gonna get. We're done.
I'm a little shocked. I feel like Orange, they maybe could and should have done better.
I feel like this was just a dramatic outplaying by MUFC as a whole. Like, MUFC just outplayed Orange in every lane. That top lane, they may have given up first blood in that early engagement, but they got 2 for it. Whenever they traded equally or better for the most part.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a huge loss for Orange in every lane. Even on the bot lane, Bounty Hunter died once to FCFC. Before the game really took off. That's when the Storm Spirit came in, rotated. But at the same time, that caused Lone Druid, FCFC, to level faster, and that caused him to lose the game. Ohio lost to Huntrash in the mid lane very handily. Huntrash got the early kill, got
2 level advantages,
better ganks, and ultimately it comes down to the fact that everyone individually played better on MUFC. And that really took them the victory here. I can't say if this was all due to draft or due to, you know, just MUFC being a little bit off their on their game and Orange a little bit off their game, but it's hard to say. It's just really fantastic play coming out of MUFC as a whole.
No, absolutely. MUFC, like I said, they've lost their last several matches against Orange, and this one they don't just win. They win in a landslide, essentially. The first game was a little closer, the second game was not. Just completely seizing control of it. And I gotta say, this support pair of Winter and Ling, both games, I'm really impressed at their ability to just not die, pull off their spells, especially the Visage was such a critical pocket pick to both of these games here. Just really, really helping MUFC's plan of taking it to Orange, just completely sticking it to them. And that's it, folks. I actually was expecting this to last a little longer than it did, but wow. MUFC 2-0. They advanced to winners bracket round 2. Orange 0-2. They're not out of the tournament by any means, but they will be sent down into the losers bracket round 2, facing up against. Actually, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to say it in case I'm completely wrong. I would guess Manessy.
It's either Mineski or First Departure.
Yeah,
so.
I think Mineski, but I'm not 100% on that. We'll have to find out. Wow. Any more thoughts about that game before I wrap up?
Honestly, I think I tagged every point there. It's just really Orange got outplayed. It's not even really outdrafted. Their draft was, I think, fine. They just didn't get any levels on the supports, and those were the people who really needed it this game.
Yeah. All right, folks. So quite a quick game there. 20 minutes, 19-minute GG. But that's it. MUFC take it 2-0. They advance. Thank you so much for watching. I usually thank Dota TV at this time, but this is Dota TV of the future. Thank you for your patience. I'm really sorry we couldn't get this game on the tournament ticket. I am obligated and feel bad. The teams are my priority, making sure that they actually are happy with the game. So if they ask me to not remake, I won't be remaking for them. But we will have this on Dota TV. So you are on Dota TV. You are seeing this. It's just in the future. At any rate, people who are seeing on Twitch TV, thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate you checking out the stream. Keep in mind, our primary sponsor for this tournament is RaidCall, www.raidcall.com. Great voice over IP program. Giveaways and discussion of the games are held throughout the tournament's running time in RaidCall channel 2013, 2013, just like the year. This is twitch.tv/Netolic TV, Netolic TV, your primary English stream for the entirety of this event. I'm Vikrmond, my co-caster El Presidente. Do you have any shoutouts?
I made a Twitter at ElPresDota.
Nice! ElPresDoto or Dota?
Dota. Actually, Dota.
Right. ElPresDota. And I'm Vikrmond, VYKROMOND.com, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, however you want to check me out or follow me, that's fine. Let me talk about what's coming up, folks. In 10 hours, we've got the West Winners Bracket Round 1 match. It is Arctic versus... Who are Arctic against? Help me out here, Elpres.
Arctic are playing against Minix.
Arctic Minix, so a South American duel to the death between two absolutely excellent South American teams. Brazil and Peru, we'll check that out. Meanwhile, in 22 hours, we will resume East Division play. So that's going to be a pretty big deal, too. It will actually be Vici Gaming against... God, what is wrong with
April Fool's Day.
Against who?
April Fool's Day.
Oh, against AFD. Yes, excellent Singaporean team. So that'll be a game to watch, too, absolutely. VG, I gotta say, they're probably the favorites in that, but they looked maybe a little shaky or not invulnerable in their last big match against TNC. So we'll see what AFD actually pull out to try to take that. So, guys, exciting. And like I said, as we reach into the playoffs, the games just get exciting with bigger and bigger names playing. So we will see Orange again. We'll see them in future Losers Bracket matches. And we will absolutely see MUFC as we move on to the Winners Bracket. For a full schedule, rules, the teams involved, which streams you can watch, all that good stuff, please make sure to check out our official tournament website, www.netolicraidcall.com, Netolic-raidcall.com. Rebroadcasts of today's matches will be available later in the day prior to the West Games. Thank you so much for watching once again, and have a good night and/or have a good day, everybody.